Tequila's part.
That's the reason I brought my own router for this activity.
It's back.
Yeah, I got it there.
I've been connected, but we definitely.
Nope.
Linda's not there anymore. Linda's back. Hello, Linda.
Hello, everybody.
All
Happy
right.
birthday to you. Happy birthday to you yesterday. Happy birthday to Linda.
Happy birthday to you. From all of us at Tequila.
Huh?
Welcome. This is the San Carlos Computer Club. I'm Scott Stimson from International Computer Solutions, and we meet every Tuesday at Tequila's now in person to do breakfast and tech topics. And this is where we'll begin. I'm hoping people have brought some topics. My biggest topic is my folks are here with me.
Yay!
Normally online, they're in San Carlos in person for this computer club meeting. And my niece Ryan has joined us. Hi, Ryan. So we got, has anybody brought any topics for today's meeting?
Of course not.
I see Mike's got equipment back there with him. What have you got there?
It's a tower right there.
Boat anchor.
I'm gonna bring it over.
Okay. What is this?
Yes, that's what I'm asking. What is this? How old is it?
It looks like this kind of equipment they're still using. It's a cable modem router.
Yeah.
Did you get it from Mega Cable?
Yes, that's where it came from. I did
Okay.
not get it. It was in the unit.
They probably want it back.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to plug it back in again. But,
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Are they any good?
Well, they're what you got to use.
Oh.
Yeah.
No upgrade to this?
No. What happens is the cable company provides you with the router that brings you internet. With that particular model, being in a coaxial cable, and then you're connecting your network to one of the Ethernet ports on the back, or at least that's the way I would recommend it: is have your own network, but feed it from that. You really don't have the choices with this kind of equipment and setup with cable internet. Your choices are either.
And pesos, please. Oh, those are the ones for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So your choices are either to use its built-in router, its built-in Wi-Fi, connect cables to it, or have your own Wi-Fi network in your house and plug internet from this to that and use that. Use your own.
What do they call? What do you call those? TV, something like that?
Well, pardon me. What we've been recommending is the TP-Link Deco
There's one of those
mesh network.
It does help.
Yeah.
So, this is,
That Deco M5 network is still a really great price point. Well, and one of the things that is interesting is you can add upgraded equipment. So like Wi-Fi 6 is out now. You could buy a Wi-Fi 6 device or get one during Christmas because that's the new standard for Wi-Fi. And if you wanted to take advantage of those kinds of speeds, then you could add a node to that current mesh network, and in that area, you'd be able to take advantage of Wi-Fi 6.
so you plug that into this?
Yeah. You would take your network and plug it into that, and that would be plugged into the coaxial cable of the cable company.
Yeah. And the biggest gripe on this one, you gotta unplug it and plug it back in to get the computer going again. It's got the coax screw up.
Right. I think
It takes forever.
Yeah, rebooting a cable modem, it takes a lot longer than a DSL modem. There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But you can't replace it because the cable companies are the ones that provide it for you.
Gotcha.
Is Linda's mic on?
Or
something's feeding down.
Something's feeding back somewhere.
Interesting. I don't see anybody's mic on.
Okay.
Can they hear you when you?
Through Bill's they can hear me.
But there's nothing coming out of my,
Yeah.
It doesn't look like.
I see that that when I talk, there's a vocal
okay.
graphic iteration up there
On.
under your picture.
Yep.
You see that there? Yeah. So I think that's working. Have we got any other things? Any questions or? Sure, Darwin, what do you got?
As I indicated last week, I have storage space concerns about the tablet, so I'm trying to free up storage space. And in looking at that further, I've come to the realization that my wife, who is an avid photographer, takes
Always blame the wife. Always blame the wife.
Unless she's here.
right. So what I've realized is that she set up a link between her cell phone and my tablet to send me pictures originally so that I could select my favorites, read them out. But I seldom have enough time to do enough of that. So she created this link from her phone, and she's flooding my tablet with photos. And that's taking up storage space. And I asked her if she could undo that, and she said, I don't know how to do it. So
It's an iPad?
no, we have Galaxy Android.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're doing this on an Android tab. This is the kind of thing that you hear about all the time with Apple devices. You don't necessarily hear this story with Android devices. So I'm imagining maybe she's using Google Photos to do it?
Yeah.
So Google Photos has this option to share. I'm picking my brain right now. It's got an option for sharing like that.
Right. And I have that screen in front of me.
Because I'm having trouble. It's not triggering anything in me right now. Or
Basically, it says conversations,
Oh, there.
and then my wife's name, I'll get it below that, my name. So my presumption is that this indicates that we two are linked. And
I'm gonna go look up. And we see a conversation.
indicating that if I took her phone, she would rather, at this point, the pictures go to her tablet. But I think
Is something wrong with the sound?
Yes, we're having internet issues here.
Oh,
We keep
okay.
being kicked off and then coming back on, so that's what's happening.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I know now.
Well, Cheryl, we can hear you, but not Scott.
Well,
Well, I'm over here in the corner looking at Darwin's thing.
He's doing table service today.
Right.
Hey, Judy.
You know, oh, is that your account or her account?
we share that one, but she has one that's Northwest Sunseeker that's personal, and this is my personal.
I'm sorry, Darwin. I have never used this feature, and I'm trying to wrap my head around it, and I don't see anything offhand. But, well, I guess what I see offhand. Oh, excellent. Hello. I get. Yeah, I obviously need a helper for this group.
Hello.
What I can imagine, well, what I see offhand is that your photos are going through Google Photos. And so if they're accumulating in your tablet, they would only be accumulating if you were saving them to the storage of your tablet. They wouldn't accumulate. They would exist temporarily on the tablet. So it would use up space, but the moment you needed memory for something else and you weren't doing this activity, all that system. This is, they come into your tablet as temporary storage, like in a Tequila, and they accumulate there only long enough for you to peruse them and do things with them. But the moment you're doing something else and you need that memory, your tablet is to dump all that temporary stuff for the rest of your device. Do you kind of talk about? So even though I've never used this, what I'm seeing here is, unless you're doing something like, oh, I want to keep this file, so somewhere in here there's probably a save that file. Yeah, there is a download here. Oh, download, yeah, right there. So when you've gone through that motion, then you're asking it to be stored into your device. So you'd be, and I don't know what this is suffering from, but.
So is that downloading something now?
No, it should be coming up. Well, maybe it is.
I mean, there's an arrow.
Yeah, it is going through a download now. So it's probably going to pop us up a message saying, what do you want to do with this download after you have it? But this act right here, this download, this activity, it would release all that memory to be used for something else.
So if he switched from this to his email, got out of this and went to his email, would his storage space increase drastically?
Well, only because during this moment, that's why I say I think you're not looking in the right place to alleviate the amount of storage that's being used in your device, is because it would only alleviate the amount of space that it was taking up temporarily when you went in for this activity. So when you switch activity, yeah, all of a sudden that be released. But since you've got such an exceeded amount used right now, there's only a little bit of free space to begin with. So when you go to like your email, and basically the problem is you're trying to do activities when you don't have a lot of free space in there. That's essentially the issue, right? Is that when we look at your capacity, there should be a storage in here.
Yeah. It's,
You know where it is? If not, we can just search for it. Okay.
and see, when I was here last time, that was 1.8.
Yeah.
Down to 1.2 now.
So you've got like 32 gigabytes of internal storage, and it is mostly being used by apps.
Right.
And so your Google app in here, the photo app, will have a cache. I'm not seeing, oh, there it is. No, that's Google Play.
So that's also the rarely used category.
Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, see the heading?
Oh, you're
So
right.
if you go further down,
Yeah,
you may find it,
occasionally used.
except it's not.
I don't
Not at all.
I don't even see photos in there.
Right.
Well, regardless, it's done a layout of your usage, and apps is the highest out of this. That's the most,
Right. So
the one that would make the biggest difference to clearing things out. And temporarily, it could be the photos you're looking at through the Google Photo app. But the moment you close the app, the only photos that reside on your device are the ones that you did the download to. So whatever memory it was taking up, it's been released to be used by other devices. If they are not devices, other applications.
yeah.
Does that make sense?
So
Yeah.
Scott, if you close out that app, do you do it, just close that app out, do you see more storage?
Well, I mean, you would, yeah.
Do you?
Well, I mean, it's all insignificant because there's very little storage to work with. So you open up that app and it starts making temporary files in very little space that's available. But Google's, the apps will work with that. It'll work with this.
But it doesn't say which app is taking up all of the space.
Well,
You can look at them individually.
yeah, I mean, you can go
Like
one
that.
by one and figure out which one's taking up the most space. But what's really frustrating is it's like his apps are taking up 1/3 of the space that's available. So he's got 30 gigs. He's taking up 10 gigs with apps. The rest is either the operating system or insignificant stuff where you can't just hit a couple of things and free up a lot of space.
Can you add a memory card to it?
He's got a memory card in it, but I'm not seeing
There is one
exactly.
there.
There's a 16 gig storage card here.
Might have to move some apps over to that.
Yeah, it's actually, your card isn't actually being used for anything right now. But I also don't see it
There's
as,
something registered there.
yeah, but it's some pictures.
But
Right, lots
Yeah.
of pictures.
But those aren't where your device is running out of it's the main storage that you're running out of space.
Yeah.
for 2 years, Scott, I've been having this problem with Google, Google Drive, Google Docs, Google Mail, and Google Photo.
But you're talking
Or space from Google. But it was all supposed to be that grandfathered in. Remember when Google Photo said what you've got you can keep, but you're only getting so much more for free?
right.
But
But that would still be in the cloud. So the only times in your device is when you're in the Google Photos program going through your cloud. And then even then, it would limit the amount of space that it's taking up to an operational amount of space it needs for the application. So the difference in experiences, if you were low on memory or had high memory, if you had a high amount of free memory, then you'd be able to view each Google photo very quickly. It would download as many as it could into that free memory, so that you could zoom in on them. They're not diminishing the quality. Whereas if you had a limited amount of free space, you might have to wait for each photo to download as one gets dropped out of memory, the other one's being brought into memory. And you could feel that through using the app. You're like, I'm waiting. I was actually having that experience on the Fire Stick last night. I was trying to put a slideshow on our TV, and you could feel, because the Fire Stick has very little free memory in it, that you could feel it download the photo, display it on the TV, and then it would go on to the next one, and it was a blank screen, and we were waiting for the photo to download again. It was nearly unusable because each photo had to exist in the cloud and only in my device for the moment that we were watching it, if that makes sense. So what would accumulate space in your device if in those circumstances, if you took like a big folder and you downloaded it to your device, then that wouldn't leave your device when you closed the application. That would stay. It would actually be things. It would be files and pictures. So if you had something that was keeping them synchronized so that you had them available offline, a function like that. I'm glad we're still talking about this because it's starting to trigger some thoughts here. If you had an option where you wanted your pictures to be available offline, then that most definitely would take up space. And that's applicable to things like your cloud space with the OneDrive and the Google Docs. If you were using an option to be able to access that kind of stuff while you're offline, then that represents stuff that won't automatically be deleted.
So where would that be? Would that be in settings inside?
That's what you'd be
Google?
looking for, and I'm sorry I can't tell you a specific place to go, but you'd be looking for an option like that in your software where you're telling it, no, I don't want it available offline. I only want it available online. There's also language like manage your storage. And you find that in Apple products as well as Google products where it's trying to, it'll keep the originals or keep the items in the cloud and only bring them to you when you ask for them.
It's optimized.
Optimize, thank you. Optimize your storage. Gary, I'm so glad you could join us.
Good morning.
Good morning. We're still trying to make this format work. Darwin, I hope some of that helps.
You know, couldn't he move some of his apps onto the card, and that would give him more space?
He could. I'm actually not
Now, if I
seeing
did that, how would I do it?
Yeah, I'm not seeing that option here.
Question.
It should be under apps. I don't know what he's using. Android or?
Android.
Yeah, it's Android and it's a Samsung tablet, and I'm not finding any option for putting your apps over. And now it might be you're not getting any option for moving the apps over because of the way that the card was originally put into your device. It may have been put into your device as a removable storage device. And if that was the case, then Samsung typically won't let you move apps over to it. There's this marrying of the storage if you want to move stuff over to it like applications. In my experience with the Samsung devices, when you put in the card, it asks you if it's adaptive storage is the language. When you do adaptive storage with an SD card, that memory becomes part of your system, and you can choose to store apps over there, and apps will make temporary files over there. And in a perfect world, it's just creating more usable space in your device. The disadvantage of that is you can't take that card out and put it into another device. You can't have all your photos over there in the adaptive storage and then pull the card out and stick it in your laptop. Nothing else can read it because part of the process of adaptive storage is it's encrypted, it's married to your device. And so your device is the only thing that has access to it.
Does the card say portable storage on it? Or does it?
It doesn't say either. It says system user data available. Oh wait, no, I'm not looking at the. Sorry, I'm not looking at the card. Yeah, it is actually an amazing amount of lack of information. is adaptive storage, and you would have more internal space because it would add that space to your internal space.
And then you could move your apps to it, and you'd have a lot more room.
So how would I set it up?
You'd want you, and then you would we were just in a mode where we were looking at what's on there. So things like these, if you don't have copies of this stuff, you'd want to make sure you had a backup of it somewhere, because it would be destructive to change it to that mode. Anything that's on that card in this mode would be formatted over with the new mode. And again, one of the inconveniences of it, and the reason Jim has his set up like this, is that you can't pull it out and use it in another device. So you could have a card that's 128 gig. You pull it out, you photographer, and your workflow take the card. Well, as adaptive storage, you can't do that. There's no way to take advantage of that. But adaptive storage is the way that you can increase the amount of storage in a device.
And there are definitely things there I would not want to lose.
You may want to go back to the idea of connecting a USB or a storage device to it. You could empty all that. Well, and even still, that card could be pulled out right now and stuck into another computer, and all that could be pulled off of the card before you put it back in and format it as adaptive storage.
Okay.
Your card also is 16 gigs, which isn't a lot of space. It would add a little bit more space to what you're doing. Your apps, those probably that 10 gigabytes could be moved over. It would alleviate the system so that it would run better. You might get a bigger card, and the cards actually have standards for speed, such as A1, A2, U3. Yeah, there's actually a whole. It would be a good topic for us sometime, because there's very cheap SD cards out there, but they might drop the performance of your device using them as adaptive storage. When you use it as portable storage, the only time it would drop the performance of your device is when you're interacting with it, like moving photos to it or saving things to it. But when you have it as adaptive storage, then it's married into that system. And so whatever performance that card is giving you, that connection with that card, you're going to feel it through the use of applications all across your system. So you want to try and get a really high performing card to use it as adaptive storage.
Some of what you're saying reminds me that when I was looking into this.
When you were looking into it?
When I was looking into some of this, there was a good security thing that suggested getting rid of the Samsung email system, I think it was. And so can there be an interference between the Samsung and Google systems in some way?
Probably just a confusion, because some of that stuff is redundant. Most of the time when you buy a device, a name brand device like a Samsung or a Huawei, they've got their own email system, their own calendar system, system. Samsung specific, and Huawei, and I'm sure there are Motorola, they have their own cloud system, and so they've got their own system for backing up if they want to use it. Everybody's trying to get you into their own services. I mean, we actually really have come to that point where these are all just windows to monthly services. We're all subscription payers as far as these companies are concerned. We're a monthly income for them. They want us to pay $10 a month for whatever it is. And I'm still not going to be surprised down the road. We're going to see companies like Netflix just giving us boxes that play Netflix.
To close that out, is that inaccessible, if that was problematic in some way. Like say Samsung wanted to give me some important information about the case or something.
Yeah, I'm not referencing that. I'm one thing being more concerning than the other. I see all that at the same level. Google's promoting, when you get a new Android device, Google has provided you with the email, the calendar, the contacts, all that stuff. Samsung is probably, I don't know this for certain, but why wouldn't they provide you with an email service if you wanted to use it? And so maybe that's what's being promoted. The Google software.
I think we've lost the sound.
There's
back.
Bill. Oh, now he's back. All right, cool.
And
Testing.
there's something wrong with our internet here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It keeps going to nothing and booting me out. And
So do you see the
I do if I'm doing something.
you see the indicator that shows that you're connected?
Oh, I
you
didn't
show
look
it
at
as
that.
disconnected. Keep an eye on that, because the reason I brought in a router for my equipment was because I was watching it drop. And so I'm like, well, maybe their Wi-Fi is sketchy. And so I hooked up my own router so that and I don't see those drops. But now I guess the question is, are we seeing drops in internet? I guess the question is it their Wi-Fi connection that's causing us problems, or is it their internet connection that's causing us problems?
Wi-Fi versus internet.
Yeah, because Wi-Fi is local and internet is
Okay.
yeah.
Like being streamed or whatever.
Is this place on the fiber optic?
Not
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, and they've been getting great internet speeds.
150.
But we do that at the Bahia too on our fiber optics. 1 minute we've got great, and then the next minute it's gone.
Or down to 2.
Yeah, and like it looked like the video was going out, but not the audio to the meeting.
Well, and that's because we're using Bill's connection, and Bill was getting disconnected.
Oh, I
And that
see.
may continue to be a problem if that's the methodology that we're using. It's definitely coming in now. And I was just taking a moment because we're going to run out of time on this first meeting. But there's nobody here except Chester. I don't even know if he can hear us now.
I love that.
Yeah, I can hear you, but if
Oh, good. Good. You too.
Hi, Chester.
I have a request, if someone is asking a question in the audience, could you repeat it? because we can't hear them.
I will try very hard to remember to do that.
But for some reason,
Well, we've been dealing with.
I'm the only one
Go
left.
ahead, Chester.
I'm
You're
the only one left.
at the moment. And I see that we've only got about 9 minutes left in our meet here, so we're going to switch over to the next meet in just a little bit.
Okay.
Let him know that we are 12 here though.
Is there 12 here? That's an impressive number. 3,
12,
5, 8, 10, 12 people. 12 people, including myself. 13 with Chester online.
It's up from 7 last week.
Yeah. I'm gonna make a quick note about Darwin's space problem here. Storage space problem. Not that we're sending him to Mars. Have we got any other topics brought to today's meeting? Gary, have you showed up with a topic today? Oh,
Go ahead.
Cheryl.
No, not really. My brain is empty.
I have movies.
right.
So Chester has movies.
All right, let's save that for the second half, buddy.
I created a video that I would love to share, and Gmail, of course, will not share it. So I tried my iCloud mail, and I've got this iMovie of the most amazing event I have ever been to in my life. It was Viviana's quinceanera on Saturday night, and Bill and I were so grateful to be invited to share in the time and had a wonderful time. And I have some very touching video of the daddy-daughter dance time.
Well,
How do I share?
yeah, how do you share? That's a great
render?
question. How do I share videos?
So I made it in iMovie, and iMovie doesn't seem to have the options of how it's created.
Well, and you made it on iMovie on an iPad because you don't
Correct.
use a Macintosh computer.
Correct.
And if you use the share option from your mobile device,
Mm-hmm.
what does it give you as far as options?
Okay, so I've got it here, and I can get my upload thing. I can send it to Facebook, Messenger, Notes, all these kinds of things.
Okay.
I can save the video to my device, which I have done.
Yeah.
And it saves it at a certain, dots per inch, a certain size. And I don't know how to edit the action to save it to an appropriate one for Facebook or an appropriate one for emailing. Doesn't seem to be an option anywhere as to how to save it.
Well-
Oh, wait a minute. I just found something. The word options came up at the top. And it says video. Okay, so I can go 360, 540, 720. Which one?
Well, how big's the video?
5 minutes. And I've got it set for 4K. So that's probably
Oh,
my
God.
problem.
So it's probably
So-
huge.
Yes.
So most big videos like that, it'd be most appropriate to put them in like a Facebook post or a YouTube post.
So
Because,
720 HD, would that work? Or-
well, in those circumstances, you would try and upload the highest quality one you could.
Okay.
Because those services don't have a limit on the amount of videos you can put up.
Okay.
Whereas if you're sending it through email or you're storing it in your Google Photos or you're using your iCloud, all of those are dependent on how much storage space is available to you, how much you've purchased. Whereas YouTube allows you to put as many videos as big as you want up to their storage space.
So Cheryl, back in your first options, can you just click on Facebook and it would upload to Facebook?
It
Yeah.
says content may be too big for mail. Your movie is about 30. Your movie may be too large to send.
Yeah, we're not
Yep.
talking, we're talking.
Yeah,
about Facebook.
I don't think you even consider sending it through mail unless
Okay.
you're going to really downgrade the quality of the video.
Okay.
Mail would be appropriate if you had a video that was a third that size.
Okay.
If you could get it down to like less than 10 megabytes, then most email systems would take it. But the problem with sending things that large through mail is that not only are you restricted by your internet provider, the other end might be restricted by their provider for receiving things of such size.
And you didn't want to put it on Facebook, is that what it was?
I wanted to share it with the family and
You know
they
what you
could
should
decide
do?
if they want to put it on Facebook,
Right.
you know, so.
You should
yeah.
go into the event page and post it
Oh, on there.
from the version that you saved in your device.
Um,
Instead of doing it
at the
from,
4K, or should I save it?
it won't
and-
matter at that point.
It shouldn't?
I mean, if it does matter, Facebook will say, no, we're not allowing people to do 4K. But it will make you aware of that as you're trying to do it.
So the event page is on Facebook,
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
right?
So because you can make posts to the event page, you could make that your post and it would be shared.
Okay. Let's see what I can do.
Of course, it'll probably suck up all our internet and we'll crash and we'll lose Chester.
Okay, but I think what I'm gonna do is save it now that I've seen that option. In the options, saving it at a lower.
Well, yeah, and if you can get it, if it'll tell you, Apple stuff is so bad about telling you how big things are. And I've been using iMovie recently because I designed a slideshow for that, for the quinceanera. And what I did is I used iMovie. Well, I actually used two different pieces of software, but I created like a 1 minute video of each year.
And then put it into the movie.
So I used iMovie to make all these different 1 minute video projects, like each by year. And then I had those exported, and then I pulled those into one main editor that I use on a PC to render it all as one great big video. And what I learned from iMovie was really painful because it was hard to figure out how you were supposed. They use the language share on the PC, on the Macintosh computer, instead of file save. They use file share, and then do you want to share it to a service? You don't even actually have to go through. There's one other menu, and neither one of the options look correct. But when you do click the correct one, then it gives you another option. Do you want to share it as a file? Do you want to share it as to a service like YouTube? Do you want to upload it to Facebook?
Cheryl, another thought, can you just not send it with Messenger?
1 minute.
Yeah.
All
I
right,
was looking at
Chester, I
that.
got you.
Yeah, I was looking at that too.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1 minute.
Scott's mic is off.
All right.
Why is,
Damn it. I'm the reason. There we go. That's better. There you go. Chester's with us too. Awesome. Okay. I'm going to stick this back up here. If anyone else decides to join us, somebody look over my shoulder.
no Chester? Oh, yeah, Chester's there.
Yeah,
He has,
Chester's
he
here.
has movies.
Chester can help.
Oh,
Whenever you're ready, I have movies.
did we?
I just started watching an old series,
She just.
Man. After the war.
Which one?
I think it's World War II. But
I've only gotten through the first episode,
How are you watching?
The Man in the High Castle.
I think it's on Prime.
Netflix.
isn't
Or
it?
Prime, Prime.
Yeah, on
Great.
Good.
It's been turned into a TV series, so it's the universe that Philip K. Dick it's story, and it's well, what I really enjoyed about it. It took me a long time into it. You watch the first episode. The first episode's great.
Okay. Oh.
Next episode over that, slower than the second episode. But then you get down to like the fourth, fifth, sixth episodes, and it just ran. It's just an amazing world to exist in. Because the idea is that we didn't win World War II. And so you're dealing with the United States divided amongst the
With a
axis.
free zone, including Canyon City, Colorado.
Right, yeah. And so it's kind of like what if the United States was treated like Germany was treated after the war?
But the first episode was good. I hope I can get through the next couple to get to the good ones.
the other way.
Okay.
One of the worst things you could do with that series is not pay attention to it because you won't.
Look at Letterman. Shelter in Kiev and interviewed him. It was very interesting, you know, both of them being of the Hebrew persuasion there, and they made jokes and it was funny. They're both comedians, and here they were.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Scott, the sound is mute. If anybody can hear me, Scott's sound is muted.
Oh, we're back. All right, very cool. We're back. Sorry. Hope we didn't lose
You have to turn your mic off.
I got to turn my mic off.
Okay, should be up.
There we go. Okay.
Give Chester the list.
What do we got? Man from the High Castle. I think Chester's watched that. My Next Guest with Zelensky and David Letterman, and Never Look Away. Was that World War II?
World War II, yeah, World War II, and it's a young boy whose aunt is an artist. He comes from a family of artists, and when they pop out the other side, the sort of things that were going on in the 20s in Germany sort of pop out the other side of the war because they were suppressed, because they were too artistic and get people thinking outside the box.
Oh yeah, they need to get in line.
They weren't getting people in line like that. So, and I used to be famous as British, a fellow who was in a boy band, and then later in his life. And my Salinger year is a young woman who goes to New York, sees her artistic life, and ends up getting pulled into an agency that runs Salinger's books, and she was the person who handled his account in the agency. It was a good movie. And Lady Chatterley's Lover, of course, it doesn't follow the book, but it's a good story.
It's so
and it
good.
has the essence of it.
Again.
Oh, the king of
You still with us, Chester?
Yep.
King of jazz. Simone.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Here.
When you get a chance, I have 3 good movies.
Simone is a great
Okay, you're next.
All right, that's my whole list.
James, give me the last one again.
Miss Simone.
Miss Simone. Oh, I watched that.
Very good documentary of her life.
Yeah. She's
Nina Simone, she's a great singer. We've been to her hometown, saw the statue that they have over there, and it's in a very, I think South Carolina place, or in northern South Carolina.
I was gonna say Mississippi, but I was gonna guess because I couldn't remember.
Damn Mississippi, Mississippi good. One of her songs was one of her songs. So, but they have a beautiful statue that was donated to the town. They put it in a place that's almost impossible to walk to. You have to risk your life to get across the street to get into a place that's wedged between busy street and the railroad tracks. But we risked our life and got over there and got some pictures with the.
Is it in the shadow of a Confederate general?
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
They're all sort of in one down there.
All right, Chester, it's your turn. What do you got?
I have 3 movies. The first one is Where the Crawdads Sing.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
love it.
The next one is The Best of Me.
The best of me.
The Best of Me.
What's that one about?
None of it.
Maybe.
And the third one is Little Boy, which is my favorite of the 3.
Little Boy. This is quite a movie list for today.
Chester, what was the movie Best of Me?
You know, I can't remember. I wrote it.
I love it.
She wants us to watch it.
So we can tell them.
That's right. Well, we'll do a movie report on it for you next week.
Okay.
Little Boy.
Little Boy.
Little boy.
Probably,
Little boy.
probably Fat Man and Little Boy.
These are all Netflix.
All Netflix. Oh, bravo.
All on Netflix.
So much
Okay.
easier to find than everything else.
Yeah, Prime is pretty difficult to sort through, and they say that they've got a movie out and you go to it and it says not available.
Yeah, or they pre-announce them so much that you're never sure if it's there or not.
Right.
I've
You
been watching
always
one.
think it's there, and you find out, oh, well, no, it's not. Or
Not there. Yeah,
it's really good at finding the movie for you, just not really good about letting you watch it.
exactly.
They, oh, no, this is on Stars. Sign up for a free month. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
watch it
Sign
there.
up for this, sign up for this. I've been watching a series on Amazon Prime. It's called The Three Pines.
Oh.
And it's takes place in Montreal, Quebec area, so it's Canadian. But it's based on mystery novels that this one inspector is part of all of these crimes. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It's got a lot of native, missing natives, and the police
And it's
force.
3 crimes or pines?
Crime. Oh, Three Pines.
Pines.
Three
Pines
pine
like the
trees.
trees.
Pines
Okay. Heard
is
that.
an area, a native reserve area in
Oh,
northern.
it's by Louise Penny.
Yeah, that's right. Louise Penny is the author, and it's her books that are turned into this series. And they must come out on Fridays, but it looks like they come out 2 parts at a time. Like if it's a 2-part one, they both come out on the same Friday.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to wait till the next week to see them. I'm
You can't
also
binge 'em.
up to date on Alaska Daily, and I want to know what the heck is happening and when it's going to be on again.
Yes, we're at the same point. We've rewatched it now 4 times. In case we missed anything.
Yeah.
6 episodes.
Yes.
They've taken a break, but in January they'll start up again.
Okay.
I can't remember. It seems to me like it was like January 15th or something.
Or
like
23rd or something. I've seen a bunch of them are coming back in January. They took like a
that.
6
The
week.
way they were doing it is they come out on ABC
Mhm.
on Thursday, and then they put them in Hulu the next day.
Yeah.
So nice for us. It gives us some choices there about where to see it. But we really thought it was. We have been so disgusted with most shows about Alaska because they are just not the real stuff. They are doing an exceptionally good job with this show.
What's this one called again?
Alaska Daily. It's the name of the newspaper. As Alaska Daily, and a big journalist from New York has come to write stories. And
I love in the first episode where she thinks she's going to this huge building with the newspaper and ends up in a strip mall.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what's happened to our newspaper. Is it's ended up this little tiny.
And we did have this. I mean, they
Yeah.
showed the original building.
Yeah.
We had a spectacular building.
Well, at one time we had 2 newspapers, and one was right downtown, had a beautiful building, like a 3-story building. I don't know where the Daily News was originally, but they built that beautiful building there by Costco, by the Northern Lights Center. And just very, very predominant businesses in our little town, and the internet just killed both of them.
well, I think that's happened to a lot of newspapers.
It
you
has.
know,
All
so-
But every one of them.
Yeah.
Every one of
I
them.
don't know if
Mary
it's the
Swank stars
internet.
in that. So she just does a tremendous job as the main actor. But we have a number of Alaskan actors that are part of it too. And I guess what I want to underscore is it's authentic to us,
Mhm.
which has been reassuring because most of the shows we are just not happy with.
Yeah, the Palin shows, the In the Wild shows, all of that's just garbage. Many of those people don't even come from Alaska. They go up to do these reality shows. And Judy, I misspoke. You're absolutely right. It started with the buying of newspapers.
Yeah.
The
And then they kept increasing their price and increasing their price to, you have no option but to do it online.
yeah.
I won't pay $150 a
And
year
it
for a
also-
subscription.
Yes, sir. Oh, see you,
Hi,
Jim.
Jim.
Have a Merry Christmas. Christmas hat next week.
Christmas happy.
This is
birthday.
I get 2 meetings to wear this Christmas hat my mom made for me.
I wanted Jim to give me the list of tablets. He's got 4 tablets that he wants to sell.
Oh,
So maybe if we can get that from him and we can put it in the document,
sure.
and
Yeah.
then I can share it with my book club girls and see. We don't meet till after dinner.
I wonder what kind of tablets he's selling.
They're
Well,
Amazon.
they're
readers. He's got some readers and he's got Kindles, and I think he has an Amazon tablet, yeah. CTV, it's on CTV on, I think it's the same thing, Thursday nights. And then I can watch it on CTV online. As long as I watch it within the first 7 days, like it gets put onto it on the Friday. And if I watch it before the next episode has been aired, it's free. You don't have to have a cable subscription or anything.
What is
to watch
CTV?
it. CTV is the
Canadian
equivalent of your
television.
ABC. So all your ABC stuff is showing on, well, a lot of it is showing on our CTV, which is Canadian television. Now,
Hey, let's let Mike go next. And before you guys get out of here, I just want to say one more
I'm a
thing.
Stanley Tucci fan. Just criticism, I think. But he does a great job. Several other, there's no bad actors in this thing.
Yeah.
And what's it called?
Inside Man.
Inside
oh,
Man.
you've talked.
Dad, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to mention a show that's just come out, which you may already be aware of, a TV series called 1923.
It's good.
Harrison Ford and Helen Mirren. So I had a chance to watch it, but I guess it started last week.
Well, that's the only one that's free, I think, is the first one.
So that was 1923.
1923.
It's been created by a fellow by the name of Taylor Sheridan, and he did Yellowstone. And they've done 5 seasons, and after the 4th season, he created what's called 1883.
I think we've talked about that before.
Following the same family all the way
This
through.
also follows the same.
So this is the next.
1883 we watched. So you're saying 1923 is out now?
1923 now. is the
It's
next
all
one.
leading
Yeah,
up
all
to
the
Yellowstone.
same.
Because I can't watch
1923.
Yellowstone, so
Oh,
I
I have a little trouble with this too. Same idea.
well, 1883 I had some problems with it. Time and the events that were happening.
That's how Yellowstone is for me, I just,
Yeah,
but
and people say it's the
1923 was
violence and
good.
stuff too. But 1923, we'll have to try it.
The first
Violence, we like seeing the women beat up.
Okay.
One more.
What? No,
Big
more
Sky.
than one more because I got one.
Okay. Big Sky is a series.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's Montana. And the way you talk about Alaska Daily representing Alaska, I wonder what the people of Montana think
Of Big
about
Sky.
Big Sky. 'Cause like the first episode was all about this serial killer guy. Well, now we've gone on to more killers and different ones.
That's
And-
Montana.
well, I guess. I don't think people from Montana would like that.
Well, yeah, I'm from Colorado, so yeah.
Okay.
Sarah, we
Wait.
could find out. Our
Wait.
son-in-law
Okay,
is from-
Scott, you're on.
I just want to add to the show list. We just watched the first episode of The Recruit. It's on
Yeah.
Netflix. It's very funny and dark as well, and it's worth watching. It's a young lawyer that is recruited by the CIA.
I just put it on my list, actually.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, it's definitely. But realize you're watching it as a comedy as well as an action, because you'll
person, I do that. Normally I just
hit the button. Please, if you're gonna do these upgrades from Apple, make sure you have a good backup.
Merry Christmas.
Have a Merry Christmas. Oh, oh, oh.
You know what we're missing is Dr. Maggie.
Dr. Maggie. That's right. Where's she?
Well, but she always brought the bag of really nice chocolate.
He remembers the chocolate?
I remember the chocolate.
Clean half.
Well, that too.
Oh, that's right. She'd have-
Or
Oh, I have Gary from Paul.
they sold their house. Are they still here?
Ray Mahoney says she.
They sold their house, but I think they bought another.
Yeah, they bought. Oh,
Yeah?
they bought off. Yeah, she
Well,
wanted to-
they're all on the mailing list, so maybe they've just become numb
Yeah,
to the
because their
announcements.
husband
They're not
never
looking at me
cares.
going, hey, we're in person in Tequila.
Yeah.
Gary O. Hall, 77 at Gmail.
Yeah,
That's Gary's new address, what you have for him,
for his,
but just.
okay.
Is that on Netflix?
Aquí?
Paramount.
Oh, okay.
They're all on Stremio.
So you have to subscribe to Paramount.
That's why we watched it on Stremio.
We did it.
I gotta figure that straight.
We watched Stremio.
No.
No. Good.
We've tried it. It's got to have something.
It's-
You have to play around with it.
Well, a little bit. Yeah, like Stremio, it runs off torrents and it goes out
Gary-
and looks for the ones that are available.
You got it?
And you pick one, and it may not work.
I just wanna
Sometimes it's
compare, make
crap,
sure I
so
got
you
it.
pick the next one. You got to fiddle with
Gary
it.
O.
But once you get it going, it's
77.
fine.
You're doxing him on our
I
YouTube stream.
even
Yeah,
if
that's
they're
the one
on
I've got.
Prime or whatever. I never.
So he's
bothered.
getting announcements, but maybe people have been getting announcements from me about this club for the last, throughout COVID.
No, it won't
And
work
they
on,
weren't getting online, so maybe they just
on an
became
Apple
numb.
device.
No,
They're not reading them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now the announcements are saying, hey, we're meeting in person in Tequila's, come on down. So maybe through the grapevine, Gary will find out, Ray will find out.
Well, we saw Gary and told him they were going online.
Yeah.
Or
Going back to in person.
yeah, but he might have forgotten by now. He's that age.
Well, once again, I brought some news articles, but we have not had a chance to get to them. They're just think pieces. I'll leave them in the document if you guys are interested in reading them. One is about Disney's new neural network that can change an actor's age with ease. This is some, everybody should know this kind of technology is existing now. You know, if you've ever watched any of these Marvel movies, what they had to do for some of their cast is they had to de-age them so that they could do them in the past and do them in the future. They're either aging them up or aging them down. We used to do this kind of stuff with makeup. Now we do it digitally. And what I didn't realize until I read this article is what they would quite literally do is frame by frame, they would do Photoshop to de-age somebody. And so they had a whole department of animators that were pulling in frame by frame and pulling off the wrinkles and giving makeup and coloring hair, all digitally. They would do this. Then they started doing some of the deep fake stuff where they were superimposing, and then they would clean that up. So maybe they could get away with a few frames of superimposed with a little bit of cleanup on it. Well, now what Disney's done is they've got all that work that they've done, and then they've got all of this footage from their actors. Like Kurt Russell's a great example. They've got him from the time he was a kid all the way up till now, and they fed it all into this artificial intelligence that they created. And so now they can point at the actor. They don't need a room of animators doing Photoshop. They can point at the actor and say, bring that actor down to 19 years old.
Oh my God.
And the artificial intelligence can do it.
It's a mathematical thing on how the face changes, how just right.
See, Gary's already like, yeah, we do that.
No, but I can see what they're doing.
It's amazing. And it's also a bit disconcerting because we have to be educating our next generations in how media is working these days, because anything from the past could be fudged very easily now.
And now the agents have to go after that revenue.
What's that?
The agents for these actors
Do what?
have to go after the revenue of this digitalization.
Oh yeah, well this bleeds into a whole different area, and Bruce Willis was the actor that brought it to a head just recently.
Okay.
But people selling their digital likeness so that they can be used. James Earl Jones has just done this for Star Wars. He has licensed his voice digitally to be Darth Vader. So in any things that they create in the future, they've got permission and they've got the algorithm to make the lines come out as a James Earl Jones voice. But apparently all the way, he's in his 90s, all the way up until the most recent films, he has been the voice actor for Darth Vader. And he's like, it's too much now, so he signed his name over. The Bruce Willis thing was the same thing. There was this thing going on where they thought he had signed over his digital persona to this deepfake company to be used so that he could bring in revenue. Apparently he's done that once, but it's not in perpetuity. But it brought this whole issue to a head. So we're going to have agents selling digital personas. Well, and then that brings into another, and we've actually talked about it a little bit in the club, where there are these digital personas that have never existed, where these are digital art creations that are influencers on the internet. And whether you recognize them as being a fictitious person or not, they're being used to sell products. And it's a two-way streak, a revenue stream, where they're selling products like jumpers or t-shirts or toothpaste, but then like things like fashion, there are customers out there that are not only interested in the live product, but they're interested in the digital product. So you have some gown that's $1,000 gown. Well, maybe you're buying that gown in real life, or maybe you're paying $50 for the digital representation of that gown to put on your avatar in the virtual meta space that we're going to exist in the internet.
Cryptocurrency now?
What's that?
Can we throw in cryptocurrency now?
No, it's dead.
Yeah.
We're not doing crypto anymore.
That and Tesla.
That and Tesla.
Or Twitter. Twitter is dead.
Target are getting everywhere. I mean, didn't Kerry Lake almost win the governorship?
Speaking of that,
That's a
Yeah.
It's a Canadian joke.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know how to follow that. Except I've got another news article in here that is another think piece to read about, because they are thinking that we're just this much closer to fusion power, because they've done some observations that show that they are generating more power than they're using. It's the first time in history that's happened. And so at least mark this moment by reading an article about it. Yeah. We are not going to have fusion generators in our cars or in our houses anytime soon, but it is the next step to fusion energy, which we should be looking forward to.
I read one article that I didn't send to you. I should have. It's a company in Europe has come up with the concept of pregnancies outside the body. They now say that there's enough technology that you can conceive the child, and it'll be gestated in an artificial environment, an artificial womb. So you can get pregnant, then you just watch your baby grow. You don't have all of the problems of pregnancy. Cool.
Except for the problem of not needing a man anymore.
Where could that go wrong?
I don't. Well, they said no nausea, no
So
weight
they're
problem.
removing the fetus or something from
Well, they take the fertilized egg and put it in an artificial womb.
And then an artificial womb.
Yeah, how could that go wrong in this world?
I don't know.
Shame and Chris.
Well, we have so much
The
faith.
picture that went with it was these rows and rows and
Exactly.
rows.
Right? Yeah. Well, and we've already shown with CRISPR, you can start designing your
Yep.
children.
Your children. Yep.
So yeah, right? Maybe we won't be taken over by robots. We'll just be taken over by artificial
The
beings
clones.
we've created. I mean, at what point is that a human or an artificial life form? Which there's a line there somewhere, right? I mean, at some point, I guess when you design the egg and you design the sperm, and then all of that's mechanical, so that it might be based on DNA that's out there in the world, but none particular.
Yeah.
By who? And do we need 40,000 Woody Allens? That's an interesting thing, because they would all be the same, right?
Right. Well, with the flip of a button, they could be different. You could say green eyes instead of blue. You
Yeah.
could say brown hair instead of
Yeah,
brown.
you go to the catalog,
Right.
swipe left.
Well, and then we are actually moving into, because of the way we perpetuate, the people that are going to be able to do that are going to be the ones that can afford it.
Yep.
So we're going to have this race of superhumans modeled over the people that, it's going to be a bunch of Elon Musks. That's what it's going to be.
Oh, good.
And the Nazis try.
Well, that's a real nice Christmas note to leave all this on. We are going to bring this meeting to a close. If anybody has